And apparently we are live.
Woohoo.
We're live. Hold on. Let me just do this.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Oh, wait. There we go.
There
we go. There we go. Hey, everybody. Slightly different format this week.
Yeah.
As you can probably tell, we don't have our normal intro. And well, YouTube just went live too. So that's happy.
Awesome.
Yay.
It's working.
It all worked.
So episode 134 of Live at the Hive. I'm Dan Nedelko.
I'm April McCall.
Producer Matt Stefanich.
Cool. And today we are using StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different platform. It's working really well so far. We like it. I know we've been having a little bit of those NDI issues where it's kind of the pictures bounce around. So this is a little bit more stable as we work out those kinks there.
The banners are cool.
Yeah, I don't think we can. I don't think we can work out those kinks. I think that's a
forever problem.
That's until they fix how NDI does variable bit rates, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it
sounds complicated.
Which one? Streamlabs. Geez, StreamYard, Streamlabs. You know, there's all the labs and all the things. So we've got Chad, Miguel, Stacy. Hello, everybody, and Alicia. Welcome to Live at the Hive.
Hello, welcome.
So today, it's kind of trippy, actually. We got the thing going down, the ticker going down at the bottom. It's just a different world for me right now.
It's different, yeah. It's very
Your
different.
world doesn't change. My world just changed. So today we are going to be talking about building a B2B customer journey in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there's we've been doing it quite a bit for the past couple of weeks for some new clients and existing clients. And it's always good to kind of revise your current customer journey, whether it's a B2C or a B2B customer journey, especially right now during COVID and getting out of COVID as well. So yeah, we have some really good articles, some good examples that we've been using, and some cool templates for people to download. And I know Matei made a beautiful infographic for us this week as well that we can showcase. So yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, totally. And I think one of the important things is to remember with B2B sales and marketing and customer journeys is there are people behind that. Right. So you're not just marketing to a business. It's really about developing substantial relationships with these individuals, being able, having the opportunity to tell what is typically for B2B a much more complex story. And we'll get into some of the kind of different the things that define B2B. One of them that's the most important is B2B purchases are typically group buying experiences, depending on what it is specifically that you are trying to get through to sell to a company, right? There we go. We got a link over to Streamlabs, or you could do one to StreamYard too.
Yeah.
That's the one we're using today, but that's okay. That's okay.
Either or. Yeah.
Love the hustle.
Yeah.
Love the hustle.
It's all good.
It's all good. Justin saying, "Hey guys, love the new setup." Yeah, we think it's pretty cool. Watch this one. Matt doesn't like this one.
I don't like that one because I can't see you. I think my thing is bugged, but yeah.
I can see you. I can see Dan.
See how it shows up.
We'll go back to this one here. And then there's this one.
I like that one too. That one.
I like that one.
Yeah, but I don't want to assert any superiority complex over the layout. There we go.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, let's talk about B2B. So again, one of the important things about B2B is just remember that there are people purchasing with a company, a corporate budget. That's really the fundamental, but you're still selling to human beings. You're selling to people, and you're developing a relationship. So in that way, there's no. I think a popular one is B2B2C, and there's all these different acronyms that people have come up with, like B2B is B2C. And I think, again, if you're selling to companies, Like if you use, we have several e-commerce clients and examples. Well, they have both a B2C model, and they would also sell into companies for, whether it's coffee, for example, would sell to businesses as well. So I think almost everybody can be a B2B seller.
Yeah. And like you said before, we've always talked about this and I think it's kind of obvious, but when you're in B2B, yes, you're selling to a business, but really you're selling to the person in charge of that department that you're focusing on, or that team in particular, right? So if it's like a product that HR would use, or if it's maybe like a product that their marketing team would use, right? There's a specific way to get in contact with the person that can push all those buttons to make sure that you make that B2B sale, right?
Did you like how I made you full screen while you were talking?
Yeah, it was a little bit daunting, but I could get used to it for sure.
You got nervous all of a sudden after 134th episode?
No. Yeah, on the 134th episode, producer Matt freezes up. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So and again, the other thing to keep in mind here is that we call it a customer journey because there are several things that make selling into a business more complex and need to be really well thought out. Otherwise, you're going to come across as a very fragmented, it'll look like a very fragmented approach. So again, when people say B2B, I think people think a very stodgy, conference. I do a booth.
Formal, yeah.
Yeah. But again, if you have an e-commerce business and you're selling whatever it is that you're selling, and you could sell those into companies, you have a B2B customer experience you should be and could be considering in from that perspective. So I think maybe one place to start, I'm going to kind of throw a little bit of sorry, I'm dealing with a bunch of screens here. Trying to figure my life out here. Is what has been termed flywheel marketing. Yeah. We talk a lot about funnels, and funnels are great. Don't get me wrong. Here, there we go.
There it is.
There it is, and I'll zoom in on it a bit. When we say funnel, we don't necessarily mean something completely linear. It is really more of a flywheel. And typically what the funnel, in air quotes, has the history of being this kind of first in, first out kind of, plopping customers out the bottom here. Now, realistically, I think more of what we've always done is a lot more of a flywheel, where the customer experience is consistently at the center of everything that a business is doing.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of times too, I think it's businesses get caught up in, how do I get the leads? How do I get the leads? How do I get the leads? Right. But you have customers, like, you know what I mean? It's like maybe focus a little bit more on the customers too. Give them a little bit of that service, that marketing, and then go back into a sale. You know what I mean? It's a cycle that you need to keep kind of turning around. And Yeah.
And I think, a really, really important thing here is that the goal is to create champions for your business. So someone that's going to advocate for you within their own company to their peers and colleagues.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And well, I think we do that a lot here on Live with Hive, right? Like we use tools and services and we put them up. I know we like showing off some doggos with Lucid Chart and things like that, right? Yeah. But it's true. And that's a prime example of how you can incorporate that in your business.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The thing I like about this is really understanding what this flywheel is all about. Right. So getting people from a stage of being an evaluator to a beginning user to a regular user to a champion. And that's a very good point, Matt. Like we talk a lot about Lucid Chart, which is a super useful tool. I would venture to say that we are champions of Lucidchart. We mentioned them. We talk about them a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at this. And the other important thing in terms of creating the customer journey here is really understanding where there are areas of friction in the flywheel. And I just want to highlight one that is almost always universally the case, which is the friction internally between marketing and sales.
For sure. That's an
understatement.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, it's a tense moment. No, just kidding.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a tension. It's I think one of the most important things is that there's been a natural separation between sales and marketing over the years, which is something that personally I've advocated for within companies, is saying that the two groups that should be the closest are the sales team and the marketing team.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed.
You know, and I think it's beholden to, depending on the even on the size of the business, that the marketing team actually be the ones that kind of take the first step forward,
Okay.
right? And the reason for that is simply that marketing can learn so much from sales and customer support,
Definitely.
right?
Get a better viewpoint to, I guess, what the customers are asking about, what maybe their problems that they're encountering. So it just gives us as marketers a better touch point in how we can better nurture them.
Well, yeah, and the people that are closest to the actual customer are sales and customer service. They're going to be able to tell you what those friction points are, right? Without guessing, polling, surveying, that kind of thing. And it's always about evaluating those results, right? So if we go back up here and just kind of look at this, is really creating between sales, marketing, and service, everybody wrapping their arms around the customer in the creation of that journey. I think that's kind of the bigger picture as we dig into what are the different things we take into account when we create that customer journey.
Yep, for sure. And Miguel brings up a really good point in the chat. He says, you can't market a solution if you don't understand your audience's problem. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's for sure. And I think if you're not providing your audience with a really good tool to solve that problem, it's just not going to work for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can theorize all you want, right? But it's definitely the sales team or that customer support team that can really put that knowledge. We could really put that knowledge to use as a team holistically.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't we dig in a little bit to how we start to create what a customer journey looks like?
Yeah, for sure. I think, do you want to lead in with that HubSpot article that we have there?
Yeah,
I can put that up while I go.
Yeah, because I think this article, it's really useful for us. It can help us build a larger conversation around effective customer journey. But this article from HubSpot, this guide actually from HubSpot, it goes really in depth on, and just down here in the table of contents, it talks about the customer journey mapping. Why is a customer journey map important? How to create a customer journey map. There are lots of customer journey stuff in here, but I think it's important because a lot of time, this kind of gets swept under the rug for a lot of small businesses. They don't understand how to create this customer journey really effectively. And we have this template. Right? Yeah, exactly. And we have this template up on the screen right now where it's kind of talking about the awareness, the consideration stages, and the decision stages. And this is the more so kind of the see, think, do, care. And we always talk about see, think, do, care, but this is critical in the customer journey because these are the types of things that that are going to build this relationship with your customer. And whether it's B2B or B2C, like Dan said, sometimes they merge in together. But it really kind of breaks down the importance of building this customer journey, and it takes you through the steps of how to do it properly. So if I don't know if any of you guys want to jump in here, but if you click on that article and it says, click the template or the table of contents, how to create a customer journey map, it kind of lays out some really high level 8 points here for us. Kind of talks about like setting clear objectives from the get-go, right? Making sure like I think that template showed, Dan, the awareness decision, the consideration decisions, right? And then you kind of want to profile your personas, define some goals, right? Who are these people that you want to bring in? Highlight the customer, the target customer personas, list out all the touch points, identify the elements that you want kind of your map to show. Determine the resources that you'll have and kind of like the ones that you'll need along the way. And then take the customer journey yourself. Put yourself into that customer journey and go through the steps and see where you need to make your changes for everything. I know we've done this before with some of our ad targeting, Dan. I know sometimes we use apps and things like that where that's useful because that's where your audience is. Say like I have a tech audience that I'm trying to reach out to, right? Where do they spend their downtime, right? Are they playing mobile games? Are they using some tech apps from the App Store, right? That'd be a great place to maybe put a touch point in for your customer, right? It's
Definitely.
yeah.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most important things I'll put up the See, Think, Do, Care framework, which is a great article. It's years and years and years old, but it's aged very well. But you can see here, and this is an interesting point. When we were discussing earlier this week in our production meeting, what we should call it, I have hesitations about using this B2B customer journey. Not because it's wrong, but because I think when people read that, they're going to say, well, that doesn't apply to me.
I'm not B2B. That doesn't apply to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's actually probably not true in a lot of cases. One, if your business isn't appealing to businesses, then you might want to consider that. Businesses tend to have bigger budgets. Businesses tend to like stability, so you can retain your client relationships for far longer. You can provide additional value. And again, I mean, just from a straight up budget perspective, a business will have more money than an individual, right? More budget and resources. So treating this as very much a persona driven process is actually really super important. One of the things I like about these templates a little bit is the first question is, what is the customer thinking or feeling? When we talk about personas, we talk a lot about, I'm going to do this. There we go. Stacy's saying, if you develop strong customer personas, you can understand their triggers and help and convert and sell your products. Yes, that is very, very true.
That's a cool pop-up. See, this is I really like cool. This. Yeah, that's clean.
Wow.
I think Streamlabs might be on the way out.
Maybe.
But we talk a lot, like when we do any marketing at all, we always start with the persona, which is a whole lot more than just the demographics. And again, it's such a frighteningly common thing. Who's your customer? Well, 18 to 54-year-old males and females. It's like, okay, that's everybody. Almost.
It's not personalized, right? It doesn't really tell a story or give you an in-depth look of who this customer could be as a person instead of, I guess, a stereotype or a label.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And bad marketing happens when we treat customers like a demographic.
Right.
You're not a demographic. I'm not a demographic. Right. Your target customers are not demographics. So again, if you look at these customer journeys, there's churn reasons. That's also another very important thing to consider when you're developing this journey for your customers is what happens when people churn out? Like, what's the issue? We can be very transparent about us. When we have customer churn, we understand that typically the number one reason is because they want to build a team in-house.
Yes.
Right. That does happen. And we have our opinions on that agencies in 2020 have the ability to provide added horsepower when you need it. Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Resourcing is always a big problem. But again, starting with what did they experience, right? What were they feeling? That's that is the starting point. And again, always focusing on the pain point. The pain point is, and that's really what this is effectively saying.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely putting a label to feeling rather than a demographic is quite a difference, right? So you're not just a number. These people have feelings, right? So I think that this is good to review for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So just jumping back, was there anything else you wanted to cover inside of this HubSpot?
No. I think that kind of gives us all the information that we need out of the article. I mean, it goes into great depth. So I highly recommend people who are watching the live right now to definitely take a look at this article and give it a good read through, because it's filled with some really great information for sure.
Yeah, I think there's also one other point that I just wanted to highlight here, and that is take the customer journey yourself. Incredibly important. A couple of examples. So every time we start with a new client, we just go and buy their product if it's e-commerce. We register for the product, right? To experience and be able to be critical and, obviously constructive criticism over where there are holes and friction points in the processes that could potentially be improved. And I think that's another thing, just as a hint to businesses and to marketers everywhere, is be unflinchingly self-critical of what it is that you're doing. Right?
Definitely.
It's obviously good to be proud of the work that you do. I think it's also important to be critical and look at where things need improvement without, you're not
getting defensive.
And it's true though, for business owners, a lot of the time their business is their baby and they don't want to change anything about it. And it's difficult for sure. And I can see that, but it's definitely important to be critical of your processes, your customer journey, and especially for e-commerce for sure.
Yeah, 100% here. I want to pull up something here. I did keynotes back in January. Oh, by the way, did you guys know that it's almost exactly halfway through 2020?
That's insane.
Oh my goodness.
It feels like 3 months of the year has been stolen from us. It
Maybe
really
more,
has. Yeah. It really has.
I don't know. I hate to kind of put it this way, but I'm not minding this personally.
No, I don't mind.
It's a mixed feeling for sure. And I think at least for me, I mean the past couple days, you stick to your bubble, right? For sure. You don't go really outside your bubble, but it's good to have family time, right? It's good to have family time, and it's good to kind of reconnect, because I know it's go quite a bit, right? Especially with kids. I don't have kids yet, but I can only imagine what it's like. So
yeah.
It can get, I'm lucky. We live a little bit outside of town, right? So we're not
easier for you.
Yeah, I feel sorry for people that live in New York City in a condo.
Imagine a studio apartment in New York right now. Oh
yeah.
No.
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 Sorry, I'm just trying to find this one doc that talks about the customer journey. I don't know if I can find it here. Oh, I know why. It's a PowerPoint. That's why. Let that do it. Let that do its download thing, and we'll jump back. All right, so let's jump into. Actually, the reason I said that is because in the one article of visualizing your customer's journey, I actually just realized now that I had a probably better visual than anything that's in here. So we'll just let that go. And I think it's a little bit further down in here. So actually, let's look at these here and what's kind of wrong with them. And again, not to be super uber critical, but it is a thing. This implies here that awareness, consideration, interest, preference, purchase, whatever you want to, you can slap different labels on it. This implies a very linear process. And I have never seen anybody have a completely linear process like this.
This is like everything going right at the same, you know what I mean? That's the best case scenario, which rarely happens.
It's almost at that demographic level, right? There's no in-depth. The customer journey is definitely all over, depending on your business. Right?
And you know what? This is good, because I think a lot of people create this, and then they look back and they're like, "Why isn't this working?" Right?
Yeah, I agree.
They have all the steps, and they're like, "Why isn't this working?" And I think this is good. This is good. I like this.
Yeah, because each customer is unique, right?
Yeah. The other part about this is that people spend a lot of time in this research area here.
Right.
If you look at the higher the cost of the product, depending on
Mhm.
what it is, the longer that research time takes, as it should.
Mhm.
So I hear consistently when we're working with the sales and marketing teams and defining what is marketing qualified and what is sales qualified. And the frustration from sales is like, oh, they're still researching. And the answer to that is like, yes, the problem is that we're probably not providing them enough of a
Mhm.
journey that's
Mhm.
satisfying those pain points that exist over here.
Mhm. Mhm.
So what do we need to do?
Mhm.
Right? Like
Yeah.
what's the solution? Well, the solution is content.
Mhm.
The content that addresses these feelings of, you know, what am I thinking? What is the customer thinking or feeling when they're stuck in this where to go?
The
Yeah,
consideration phase.
what's stopping them from buying, let's say, that coffee, maybe?
Yeah. Is it maybe
Yeah.
the shipping? Is it maybe not
Yeah.
understanding where the package is? Lack of customization of profile, right?
It could be any number of things. It could be lock in on a long-term contract. It could be internal adoption.
Yep.
If we're
Mhm.
talking about, you know, SaaS products, software as a service products, typically very much have this
Mhm.
this huge problem.
Mhm.
I've had numerous conversations with Michael Litt from Vidyard over the years about this. Is they have a product like Vidyard. Everybody,
Yep.
you know, buys into it. It's super exciting. It's video. It's internal video, creating
Mhm.
video libraries.
Mhm.
It's something that universally in every company people would say, yes, we really want this stuff.
Right.
And then it comes time to creating it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is a common pain point for a lot of products and services is, and look, I'm the worst for this. I'll sign up for a 30-day free trial. You send it over my way. I'm in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, you know, maybe in the first day I use it and then I drop off rather rapidly.
Right.
Very, very common. Very
Mhm.
big danger if you're in sales and marketing to say, hey, we acquired a new customer, but
Right.
they haven't used it in 3 months.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. This was specifically something that was happening at Vidyard. And it's very, very common that this happens. And that's why this flywheel is the solution to those.
Exactly. Yeah.
those
So even if it's like, okay, like say, like you said, Dan, say someone's gotten a platform or a product and they haven't used it for 3 months, right? Marketing can put up something where it's like, okay, let's create maybe an automatic email that gets sent out for X amount of inactivity on a profile. Then that email gets sent, kind of be like, hey, like what's going on? Let's get in touch let's get you in
How you
touch with our
liking
service
things.
center, right?
Yep.
And then you can kind of get some service in there for your customers, explain what's going on, if they have any roadblocks, etc.
Sending them a survey, maybe customer experience, how they're liking it, what they did like, what they didn't like, right?
Yep.
Well, if you guys recall, we had Jacob Fernandez from Vidyard on. I don't know how long ago now.
It was before COVID.
December.
It was before
December.
COVID. Yeah.
Actually, I think it was live. That was the last live before COVID, I think. Yeah.
Was one of
One of
those.
the last
It might have
ones,
been. Yeah.
Yeah, and pretty much his entire job is customer championing, right?
Yes.
And getting people to use this thing.
Right.
So that's an incredibly important part. So those are the two things. If we just jump back to why people are stuck in the research phase, what's happening? Well,
Right.
use content in this journey to enable, educate, give people the ammunition they need to complete their research for them.
Yeah.
Right. This is kind of a thing in PR that we've seen over the years, Matt, and I know that you know this, but bloggers and journalists, if you write their content for them and let them do whatever, like if you
they're your best friend.
They will be your best friend because these people will have multiple deadlines in a day, right? I have to write 4 articles today.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In a very much the same way, if you're selling a product and you're making it difficult for your customers to research, to compare, to evaluate, to demo, to
try it, maybe.
To try it, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. You need to provide all of this type of content to your prospects in a way that's super easy to consume it, right?
Yep.
And again, really just looking at some of this in, kind of circling back one step is to say, okay, I'm selling into a business, but every time I sell into a business here, I have to take into account the fact that there is a finance department that has a budget. There will be a marketing department, a customer service department, maybe a software department. If you're looking at something like a webinar platform or a Vidyard, for example, that platform touches multiple departments within one business. Therefore, making your life as a marketer more challenging in terms of being able, right? You have to be able to explain this to them.
Talk to them at different levels.
Yep. You need to talk to people at different points in their own journey.
Yes.
And also other people within that company. Just give me 1 second here. It's presenting on the wrong screen.
Oh,
I wanted to show this, but maybe I'll just do this. So you need to create content tailored to those particular people that maybe are in finance, like, right? So
just tailoring it to speak to who you think in the business is going to talk to, talk to that at a certain point, right? So tailoring your strategy to talk to maybe the marketing. Yeah, there's that. There's the image. Talk to the marketing, talk to the finance team, and tailor your messaging to kind of assist them through what you're trying to sell or get across.
Exactly. So from a marketing perspective, step one, right, as you're creating this customer journey is understanding this is what a complex customer journey looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's a very non-linear process. It's a very, all over the map process, which is important to understand, because if you're taking a linear approach to trying to market something to a non-linear process, you're kind of asking a fish to climb a tree. It's like, it's not going to work well. For sure.
Yeah. And I can't really read everything on there, but I think just from a visual point, take a look at all the touch points that are on there, right? Compared to the graphic that you showed us at the very beginning with the linear, right? There's so many touch points. And at the end, it's a relationship. That's the goal. It's not a conversion. It's not a sale. It's a relationship.
Yep.
Right.
And I think that's pretty important here. For sure.
Yeah. And as we start to map out, now we've got a few minutes left, we can start talking about how this mapping of a journey takes place and what you do with it, including the types of content.
Right.
But if you get a feel for this type of a nonlinear approach, and also you can map out for your specific business what a group buying decision looks like. We've done this several times. And step one is identify your champion, right? Yep. Who's the person in that business that really loves what it is you're doing and really wants to use your product? When you identify the champion, then you give them the ammunition to address every single objection or potential friction point with their peers within their organization. Right? If you can do that for them, and give them that ammunition. So for example, we did a marketer's guide to talking to a CFO for a client, right? A marketer's guide to selling into your own finance team. Right? Why do we want to do this, and how are we going to do it? And why is this important for the business? What is the potential ROI? Where can we save money? Right? Asking your potential prospect to put that together for your business is not what you want to be doing. You want to just give it. You want to take that time to create that for them. Right?
Give it to them.
Yeah. Even if you're selling, well, not a CPG, not a consumer packaged good. It is in a sense, but we've got a client that sells coffee, right? Sells coffee to consumers and then sells large 5-pound bags. Well, if you could make a case for a company to say, hey, I can show you how you're going to save $3,000 on your coffee services in the next 12 months, everybody in finance would say, hey, that's cool. And the coffee's better. Neat. Right.
Nice. Yeah.
And again, to kind of demystify the idea that B2B is a trade show thing, it's not. You're just selling You're just selling to a business.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. One thing I did want to just kind of quickly talk about, because I love this analogy, or not analogy. I love how IKEA,
Oh, wow.
and again, hopefully it'll be a little easier to see here. Maybe I'll just make it full screen.
I remember this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So IKEA is infamous for their catalog, right? I think it's still pretty popular. To be honest with you.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's almost like a coffee table book that you leave out and just browse it when you're bored. Right. But IKEA really understood the fact that the world is changing for them, but they have in-store and out-of-store experiences that are still completely valid. And this is how they mapped out their entire customer journey and the life cycle of a customer. And you can see it's super nonlinear, right?
Oh, yeah. It looks like spaghetti on a plate.
And right. And that's great, because that's exactly what customer journeys are. They're nonlinear things, like, interesting. So look it up in the catalog, head over to the website. I can just go to the marketplace and buy it, right? Or I can order it on the marketplace. You can see that. So they're not discounting one particular journey versus another. They're taking it all into account. And that's an example of a very thoughtful, nonlinear customer journey. And I think it's reflected in to a great degree with obviously the success of IKEA, right?
Oh, for sure. And I think that this is something that's taken years to build up. This is something that's taken years to refine, optimize, right? This isn't just something that you take 4 people into a room and you're like, all right, team, what's the customer journey, right? Like, yeah, you can plan it out, but it's going to take time to refine it and get a really nice customer journey, right?
Even adjusting and all this new data, right? Just all depends. It's a cycle, continuous cycle.
Absolutely.
Yep. So hopefully that's a little bit of a help in terms of what a customer journey looks like. I'm going to throw up now a little example. So now, as you're thinking through your customer journey, and I mean, literally, you can write this out on sheets of paper. You don't need to get super, fancy with everything. But just looking at this here, we've created a sample activation funnel. And this is a customer journey to activate people to be able to sell a professional services product. And how do we do it? I think the most important thing is focus on your content in that customer journey. So as you start to go through this process of looking at that nonlinear customer journey and saying, what are their pain points from some of the other templates that we showed a little earlier from that customer journey map, right? You map it out, find out where their pain points are, then develop your content to address those pain points while you're talking with the sales and the customer support teams, so that you really understand what those pain points are, right? Then you can start to map out some goals here. And if I zoom out, you can here. Okay. So this is a 9-step activation, what we call a warming. We call a funnel, but you can call it a flywheel. It kind of goes in circles, you can see there. And what we're trying to do in this case is, one, determine from a leads list that may not have been communicated to on a very frequent basis in the past, right? So what we need to do is we need to understand who is engaged, who is disengaged, how we get those people engaged again, and what types of content are they really interested in. And so it starts with really using LinkedIn in this particular case to say, hey, we want to grow our LinkedIn page. How would we grow our LinkedIn page? Provide good content for our target audience. So in this particular case, and we won't go into gory detail because we're going a little bit over time here, but introducing LinkedIn as a resource hub, right? Then introducing some infographics that these people can use and basically swipe and use for their own social. Waveform videos that have very good content, always snackable, right? one of the dangers of group selling and group marketing and B2B is people are trying to boil the ocean, right?
Right.
Keeping things snackable and simple and understandable achieves a lot of goals. One of which is it's something that I can just shoot to the finance team or to my VP of sales or whatever, right?
Yep.
And again, we go down here and what we do is we're using tagging and lead scoring, both for positive and for negative. We can actually see here, for example, if April is a prospect or a lead or a customer, and let's say the waveform was really interesting to April. So she did end up opening, had a good headline, had valuable content. Well, that tag of engaged happens here, but if she skips the next 3, she's also going to be engaged and disengaged in the system, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But we'll know where and when that actually occurred. And so there's a lot of informing that happens from this type of a process. And then you can see that once we finish this, we have various profiles to know whether we have a kind of champion customer that's really amazing. So we get them into a VIP situation. And then we also identify people that need help, right?
Yep.
And if they're your customers, it could be maybe somebody had ordered 4 products online, but they haven't ordered in 6 months. Well, what happened?
What happened? Yeah.
Right.
Why not? Yeah. There's some questions in there that this could definitely help illuminate.
Yeah, exactly. And sorry, go ahead.
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all good.
I think it's good.
So when you're building out that map, I think the important thing is then, so this whole customer journey, hopefully it's kind of, we've gone from, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and kind of circling on back to where we're looking at, we have some other examples, but the one I did want to show, and I know we've shown it a lot, but I think it's important. Repetition is good.
Yep. Plus, we have a few new viewers, right? New viewers, they need to see it.
Got a few new people. Always good to see. There we go. And oops, there we go. And again, I know we've shown this over and over again, but it's important. And this is how we use content anchors to create those content machines that then facilitate the customer journey, right? And again, webinars are so powerful. They're so very effective for converting people. You can create a 15, 20-minute webinar on 20 topics, run it simulated live or on demand, and really use that as a customer journey library for people that are very much at the bottom of the funnel. And again, important to target who it is that you're speaking to, whether they're in marketing, finance, sales, customer service, and tailoring a message specifically for them so that your prospects have got the ammunition to be your champion inside of their company.
Exactly.
Right?
For sure. Yep.
Cool. And with that, that is all. No.
That is all.
So
perfect.
So hopefully, yeah, it's a lot to digest. It's a lot to go through in one live stream for sure.
Yeah.
I think the important things are to really treat your customers like they're human beings, understand their pain points, right? Get them the content and the resources that they need. Don't make your prospects work in order to become your customers. I think that's an important one, right? Don't make it too hard to get stuff because people will give up and go where it's easy to get stuff. Right?
Yep, it's true.
And then the last point that I would make is almost all businesses are or can be B2B businesses. They just have to think about a slightly different perspective on who it is that you're selling to and how you can do that.
For sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
Well,
that was an awesome live. That's for sure.
That's good.
Definitely some great information, some great tools that people can take a look at offline and utilize. Absolutely.
Consider, definitely.
I'm gonna leave you on full screen for the rest of the time, Matt.
Do you see the cat? Do you see the cat just waking up?
I can see your cat. Yeah.
Cat's
End it
waking.
before he walks across the screen again.
Oh, he's coming. There.
No, let him do it. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, any exciting plans for a slightly chillier weekend than normal?
Mm.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
not really. We're in the middle of packing and moving, so I'm sure we'll be getting into that later this weekend. But I think enjoying the weather.
Yeah, during the weather, I'm searching for houses, so that's just stressful. I know I'm gonna see a few. So
apparently the market's opening up for millennials to start buying homes.
Yeah, I mean I saw a few houses. Not to get off topic, but it's a very different world out there. You wear masks, gloves, can't touch anything, have to fill out surveys and questionnaires. Very weird, but we'll see.
Love to see it though. Got to be careful.
Don't worry, we will.
All right. Well, I tore down a small engine tractor last night and put it back together.
Oh,
wow.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
small engine repair.
It's hefty.
Yeah.
I
took the whole deck off. I put new blades on. I put a new it's called a deck belt, not the drive belt, the deck belt.
Oh yeah.
Lots of and I've got to take a vote on what color I'm going to paint it. It's going between silver, gold, hot pink.
Ooh.
You got a cup holder in there or no?
Yeah.
I can build anything I want on that thing. I got it for $600.
Put a cup holder on that bad boy.
Yeah.
It's a 25-year-old Craftsman I got on Kijiji from this guy that does small engine repair. So I know the thing inside and out.
Yeah, you have to show us a photo.
I would never advocate anybody spending $5,000 on a new riding machine, a lawnmower.
Well, I think you posted an Instagram photo earlier this week of all the lawn trimmings from that machine. It's holy jeez.
That was my ridiculous garbage night.
Oh, wow.
I take out all the stuff. Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
But I did get a catcher bag thing as well.
Oh, that probably helps a lot. Yeah,
it'll help. But I want to spread it around. Like it's actually really good for the lawn. If you spread the clippings properly. But I had all sorts of stuff. I had like uneven blades, and I had to balance it, and the whole learning process. That's my life. My weekends. Yeah. I'm trying to figure out pools, jacuzzis, or a friggin' riding lawnmower. But
wow.
At least it's interesting.
This is what you do when you have 4 kids and you're in your late 40s, right?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, StreamYard. Stacy thinks I should paint some bees on it. You know what? Yellow would be interesting.
Yellow would be cool.
And I could get a Benny B decal.
That'd be cool.
On the hood and like some yellow racing, black racing stripes on it.
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I should trick it out like something so ridiculous that the neighbors wonder what I'm doing. Why I'm doing it.
True.
All right, guys. Well, good live and props to StreamYard.
It worked really well. I like it a lot.
Big shout out.
It's a heck of a lot easier on the old production side, that's for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for watching us. And if you're not already, subscribe on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, or wherever you get your podcasts, because we have got 5 episodes up, soon to be 6. And we will see you next week for what? Episode 135.
135.
Yeah.
All right.
135. We'll see you in the next one.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.